Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well. So today, on this fantastic day, I'm going to do a dry run for my upcoming presentation at the Developers Conference 2024 in Mauritius. And it's going to be nice, interesting, and hopefully I learn some stuff myself. So I didn't yet get anyone to rehearse. One of the reasons I'm doing this, but also to check my my timing as well. And on top of that, obviously, is to provide this to you, because most of I don't know, like most people won't be able to attend this session. And yeah, so it won't be the final one, obviously. It's we are currently Wednesday. Tomorrow is the first day, and my session is at 11 a.m. in the Tetris room. And on top of that, I am going to be busy doing lots of other stuff. So it's going to be nice. Let's get started with it already. And I'm going to be changing stuff along the way. Let me just put a nice background sound. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you hear anything. All right, let's get started. I will start with the slideshow. So I'm going to publish it maybe a few days after the developer conference. So here we go. How I use Obsidian as a programmer, problem solver, writer, tech enthusiast, and podcast editor. Actually, this is the title, but I've deviated a bit from that because it's better to have so maybe not just the dry run. I might add also some like the background work, how I did X or Y or things like that without further delay. Table of contents. So today I'll talk a bit about introduction, about the topic, about myself, and we are going to have 3 parts actually. First is the part 1 is going to be methods, why we need to be taking better notes, how to take notes, why it's important, why we have writing that is very important as an activity for understanding and for learning. We also have a part 2 which is going to be about the tools, and at the end the demo about a very interesting tool. But in this presentation, like in this video, I'm not going to cover the demo. Maybe in another separate video that might be interesting, because I think it's going to be very long. Okay, for whom is this presentation? So if you're studying as a student at school, or you're studying for certifications as a professional, or you're at university studying for a degree, or you're generally in academic, so I hope to see some lecturers as well, or instructors during this presentation, or if you're a professional, a knowledge worker, a software engineer, a manager, or a creative writer, then this is the ideal presentation for you. Okay, just a few words about me. I'm a professional software developer with more than 11 years of experience. I've been mostly doing web development with some data projects. I like writing and blogging. I'm usually trying to speak in public as often as possible. I do some conference, networking, knowledge sharing and mentoring like I'm doing in this video right now. So it's already going fast. I've not yet reached the other part. So yeah, I'm also the co-founder of the Tech News podcast and Tech News system organization, whereby we and my co-founder Hidayat, we talk to IT tech experts, thought leaders and influencers. We try to promote knowledge and content and inspire new entrants. And apart from that, I also try to participate and interact with the local community in tech, for example, front-end coders, MSCC, and some others like Python group. Apart from the DevCon, I've yet to attend a session, I think. But yeah, I think I should add one. So apart from that, in my day-to-day life as hobbies, I like reading. I like to wait. I would have added sleeping. Who doesn't like to sleep except the night owl? but I like weightlifting because this helps me sleep, and I also like self-improvement stuff, like being disciplined and things like that. And in my like relaxed time, I enjoy anime. I think it's very good to break the stress. And of course, you have football as well. I'm quite a big fan of playing football, but not nowadays. It's more about watching football. My favorite team is, I won't mention because we are quite bad nowadays. So just a few snapshots of the previous events. Those with front-end coders, with developer festival, Dayfest, with Jockey, with the leading minds of front-end, the leading minds from MCB, and there above here I was giving a mentoring session in one of my previous work. So it's all nice. Let's move to the actual subject. But before, let's understand this. Why AI? Will AI take our jobs, or won't AI take our jobs? I think this should be, will AI take our jobs? I need to correct this. Won't AI take our yeah, no, it's good. But this is a question that you might be asking yourself. Won't AI take our jobs? A recent study from the Princeton University found that there is a certain kind of job that is least likely to be automated by machines in coming years. Surprisingly, it wasn't jobs that required advanced skills or years of training that were predicted to fare best. It was jobs that required the ability to convey not just information, but a particular interpretation of information. They are centered around knowledge. So I'm not inventing this stuff. I've actually stumbled upon this quote from the Second Brain book by Thiago Forte. Of course, we are going to cover his method later on. So the key here is they're centered around knowledge. So if you know how to take your notes, to organize your notes, to build it for it to become knowledge, then you're good to go. AI, generative AI or machines cannot replace you. It's not easy. Of course, we have other sectors like the education sectors. Like how does AI teach someone some stuff, a subject from scratch? This is still a challenge. Healthcare professionals, I don't think anytime soon this is going to be replaced. Creative fields, yeah, we are seeing more and more of generating AI doing stuff like copywriting, video editing, and so on and so forth. I have another presentation on it, and we see that AI, generative AI in particular, does an incredible job. But when we are talking about putting all of that together, AI is way behind the scenes, and I believe that it cannot even do it and won't be able to do all this stitching together, building an entire project of different types of knowledge. It's not happening soon, not even the next 5 years. And personal service, let's say you want a massage, how does AI does it for you, my friend? Or wash your car, yeah, there are machines that can do it. But let's say you have a company that's offering washing your car without even using water, and they come to your place. You don't need to move. So AI can beat that for the time being, at least. Now, before we continue and get introduced with one of the methods, we need to understand who was Mr. Niklas Luhmann. He was a highly productive German social scientist who published over 50 books and over 60 articles during his career. And actually, when I was reading the book How to Take Smart Notes, the author mentions that he's been writing only 20 years, I think 20 or 25 years, whereby many other academics and writers have been doing so, like twice the time at least. So this is in itself an incredible feat. His productivity was exceptional, even beyond his published work. Over 150 unfinished manuscripts were found in his estate. So Luhmann himself attributed his productivity to working in partnership with his, what we call Zettelkasten or sleep box, which we will take a look just next. But before, what can you learn today? Professor Lohmann had a normal IQ, like most of us here in this room. If you're listening to that, obviously in audio, most of us, we have a normal IQ, yet he was so prolific. But what's the difference? What's happening? How can we do the same? We don't need to write books, write articles in academia. But why are we not so prolific? Even the best of us. There is one reason, is because we're constantly bombarded with media and entertainment. And I'm not just talking right now for those who are listening to me or those who will be present at the presentation. But since our educational years, very early, we have TV, we have TikTok, we have our mobile phone, and this constant bombard of media and entertainment. So this prevents us from thinking, from writing, from doing things, because thinking and doing things, they go together. If you separate them, then you can't really be creative. So today you are going to learn how to organize information and use our brains separately for thinking, creativity, and problem solving. And we don't need to focus on recall. We are going to try to think about understanding what is understanding and the use of knowledge, how to gather knowledge, and so on and so forth. But one thing that's very interesting, and it happened to me, I am quite, I won't say prolific, but I'm really proactive. I usually write blogs nowadays. My blog is not up to date. I need to look into that. But apart from work, I try to, for example, participate in the networking events, in tech events, and do this video like I'm doing right now. Yet I always procrastination, and I procrastinated to do this presentation because I had 2 months or so, and I just started doing it like a couple of weeks. Because the key here is, the main point is starting from scratch, because I thought I was going to start from scratch, and we are going to tackle it in a way that prevents us from procrastinating. Of course, we are going to see the benefits of writing. Many of us know this. It might seem cliche, but the knowledge that I've got from these 2 books that I've been reading, how to make smart notes, how to take smart notes, and Second Brain, have incredible wisdom and knowledge as well. So it's going to be a waste for me not to share this with you. And of course, keep learning. This attitude of keep learning and growth mindset is very important in your career. If you, as a career, and of course, if you're already at university, you're a student, you know there is no other way. You need to learn, you need to grow for you to pass your tests, your exams, your assignments, and then move on to the next. But for us, many of us in the professional life, like myself, when life becomes comfortable, we generally plateau, in the sense that we don't think that we need to learn more. But this is completely false, because not only the tech scene, but the entire world is changing at a fast pace, and we need to keep track of it. We need to actually move as long, grow as well, move the same. So that's what is important here. And now you might also say that, no, I'm too old to learn new things. I have so many other responsibilities. I can't remember things. I take too time to learn new things. I don't even have time. And that might partly be true, but we are going to have a look at those 2 methods. Obviously, it's going to be more of an introduction today due to the time. These 2, the sleep box methods and the Second Brain, is going to not only challenge you to learn new things, like doing certification, but this will help you in your work as well, because we are, most of us, knowledge workers. Unless we are plumbers here. Anyone who is plumbers, or just a question I can ask. And at the end, the demo uses Obsidian, which is an incredible tool. And I still wonder right now how this tool is free. Of course, it's not completely free, as we will see later on. So let's move on. Why learning and working is hard nowadays? So we have a data consumption explosion. What this means is that for the average person now consumes a staggering 34 gigabytes of information per day. What does this mean? It's actually equivalent to reading 174 full newspaper dailies, a five-fold increase in. So it's huge. Just imagine you have a newspaper and you're reading it, and it not only takes times, but it also takes a lot of mental energy. And the average person is doing that every day. So how do you expect us to be learning, to be working effectively? No, it's not easy. So we have a lot of unintended consequence. So we are overwhelmed. Rather than empowering us, this flood of information often overwhelms. We are too tired to learn. We are too tired to work. We feel tired all the time. It happens to even the best of us. This exhaustion gives us like we are tired, we have anxiety, so we don't even want to learn apart from our work as well. So this is one of the internet paradox. Instant access to knowledge has led to society-wide attention deficit. So too much access to knowledge have the contrary effect that we would have imagined. We would have thought that, yeah, I need something, I get it, but no, that's not the case, actually. So if you're at work, there is another challenge. I will give you an example why I don't really like working on, this is for myself, working on past work. So let's say I've been working on project X for the past year, and then I've moved to something else. And then one day, out of the blue, my manager comes and tells me, you know, the project X that you've worked last year, it's very good, and the client wants to have another update to be done. So I say, okay, right, not bad. And then I start wondering, where is the information I need, how to set up the project again. I forgot everything. And it's a shame because I'm going to lose a lot of time. This is one of the reasons I actually don't really like working on past projects. But all of that can change and will change. Like I will teach you those methods, both of the methods, especially the second one, which is going to deal especially for that. So just some statistic I'm throwing on the screen. Here is that research have found that the average, this is US, but it's, I think it can be represented worldwide. The average US employee spends searching for misplaced notes, item or file 70 hours per year. That's 26% of the day knowledge workers look for information across various systems. 36 success rate. Only half of the time do we find the needed information. So for me, I have the impression that this happens all the time. And the takeaway here is we need a way to be able to save information well and retrieve them when needed. And this is what we are going to address. So this part is more about professional work, but even then, it's still very relevant to you as student, because you are going to have assignment, tests, your knowledge, you need to learn X and Y, so it's all here. Let's move therefore to the next. How can we organize information efficiently, effectively? So at work, like the past slide referred mostly, is that our information and our knowledge will be separated different places. So it can be in emails, email attachments, in document and downloads folder. It can be everywhere but a single place. Google Drive, OneDrive, can be on chat, can be a Confluence. If you're a developer on GitHub issues, it can also be a SharePoint, which a lot of teams use. And for studying, it's a bit different. You can have your notes if you're using a Mac, for example, on Apple Notes, or otherwise on OneDrive, Google Drive, Keep. I forgot to add it. It can be on the other one. I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, or separately, and you can be doing your notes on pen and paper. and then you need to find a way how to retrieve them. So this is one of the ways that you can use Slipbox, little custom, or a variation, and it doesn't need to be complex, or you can have wiki tools. So the aim here, the point is how to save relevant information quickly, how do we retrieve this information when needed, and how do we connect these ideas together so it's all relevant. Because let's take the example of this manager who is asking me to do XY. So I've already done a feature called A, and now there's an update to do and bring along a feature called B. So how do I connect this? And this is not even considered creativity right now, but these ideas connect, and it's more than data. Now, how to actually take smart notes? We are going to have a quick dive into one of the most famous note-taking system method in recent times called Slipbox, Zettelkasten. So it's just a German word. Remember that Niklas Luhmann was a German academic and writer. Let's begin. So just some theory right now, and I don't want to bore you, but it's very interesting. So the main purpose and principle is that you want to develop, not just collect. So you don't just want to collect. You write down, you capture. The Slipbox method isn't about passive collection. It's about actively developing ideas, arguments, and discussion. When encountering new information, consider how it relates to existing information. Does it contradict, support, or expand upon what you already know? One note, one idea. Write exactly one note for each idea or concept. Craft your notes as if you're explaining them to someone else. Use full sentences, cite sources, and be precise. So the key here is as if you're having a conversation with someone, and this someone can even be your future self. And like I mentioned earlier, avoid starting from scratch. Even if your Slipbox is empty, you already have ideas in your mind, so you just can already write some stuff and plan them. So we try to avoid brainstorming, rather explore the notes to find chains of related ideas and clusters. So these are so many things that I've taken from the books, paragraph and paragraph. I actually used ChatGPT to summarize it. So the biggest benefits that you will have is that you will, by actively, so there's a passive way of learning. You just learn and then you do nothing, and after a few weeks or even days you completely forget about that. But there's another better way, which is by actively engaging with the material while taking notes. You enhance your understanding and memory. You try to connect ideas within your Slipbox to reinforce neural pathways and making recall more effective. So all of that has been proven. Different strategies, different learning strategies, but this has been proven. Of course, then you have the problem solving and creativity part. Combining ideas from different notes can lead to novel insights and creative solutions. Yeah, we don't need to be the next Einstein, but it certainly helps. Use your Slipbox as a playground for idea synthesis. You can try new things, new ideas, and it's very important actually, the synthesizing part, because otherwise, if you don't try new things, you don't elaborate on that. And one of the key parts on writing on the Slipbox methods and learning in general is elaboration. So of course, we have the reduced distraction. Good tools like the Slipbox simplify the process and reduce distraction. You only have your writer, your pen and paper if you're going to go through the traditional version, or only your editor like Obsidian or Evernote or anything else. You can just focus on thinking and developing this idea rather than you have complex systems. So when does the system become complex is you can actually make Evernote or Apple Notes or Obsidian very complex, but like I've showed you earlier, when you have the notes, the knowledge gathered in different places, it becomes a complex system, and there is no easy way of connecting one idea to another. And when we talk about connecting ideas, it's really like how the web works. You have hyperlinks, you can go from one article to another and back again. So Slipbox is a bit like that, and Niklas Luhmann has wrote about it few years back before the internet was like initiated, the World Wide Web. So I don't know, maybe he had an impact. So for us, how to use this enhanced learning and recall for your study of certification preparation. So whenever you are doing your exam, you can use it, and you write down the same thing. You take your note, the key concepts and theories, and you try to link them. You try to explain to someone else. And this will help you a lot, because when you're doing certification, especially advanced one like cloud certifications, you have a lot of theory, and the more you go, and you have the beginner, the intermediate level, the architect level, the amount of knowledge is incredible, and the amount of practice that you also need is a lot. It's huge. So how do you recall all of that? One of the best ways to use the sleep box method, because it helps with understanding, with writing down, and of course with elaboration, all are key concepts to learning. So just a summary of the Zettelkasten method, or the sleep box method. So as your input will show you, I will show you later on. So right now, not really in this video, but in the next video, but for those in the presentation, we have the concept of fleeting notes. Take random notes as you go on with your day, and then you have literature note. You can actually put them together. You can use what we call daily notes. Take notes of something you're reading, listening to, watching, and observing. So let's say I've watched a very interesting video on YouTube on Obsidian, and I found it interesting. I copy and paste the URL and just write a bit of a note of what I've liked with it. How can I use this information later on? So that's it. Then we digest it quickly. Sometimes, so normally how you can do it is just plan 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the day and just review or read your notes, and if you want, write one idea per note. It's recommended to do it though, because this will help you a lot. And then you organize it, you find a place to save the ideas, and you can use tag system as well, so that you don't really need to move it. So I'll show you at the end for the demo, well, not for this video actually. And then you, with time, reuse ideas. You let the ideas you collect over time inspire your next essay. So it's for academia, but it's not only academia. For us, it's the work that you're doing. And one thing I want to add is that so Niklas' goal is to facilitate ongoing conversations with himself over time. So you can also share it on social media. This is something I usually do. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you will see that I quite do it. Not every day. At some point I did it every day, and I want to do it more. But how do I do it is really I use this kind of process, because out of the blue, when I'm working and I get an idea, I don't want to go on LinkedIn and now be bombarded with dozens of interruptions and notifications that will literally break my flow. I just write it down why I need to write it, and at the end of the day I'll just expand a bit on this idea and share it. I share it because this gives me more motivation to continue doing it. And of course, there are certain times precious knowledge and gems of knowledge that I think people can get from. So in short, this is what the sleep box Zettelkasten method provides you, is when you have information, they're scattered through, you don't really know, but knowledge is when they are connected. Like we say, they are connected by the dots. And of course we have different types of notes. So I did fleeting notes below. Literature note is what you take, then you can put it in your reference, and you can put it in your permanent notes. Just as an idea, it doesn't need to be that organized. You can have everything in just the root folder, or you can improve on that based on you. So let's move on to the second one, which is the second brain. Wow, I'm thinking I'm already almost 30 minutes right now. And based on this, I'm just thinking, will I have time to cover the demo as well? So I think I'm going to do the second brain later on, because I'm quite tired right now of speaking. And yeah, so that's it a bit for this video. We also have the demo time. Hopefully I get some time to do the demo, but we are Wednesday and tomorrow is the session, so hopefully I get some time to also publish this video maybe next week. I hope that this can be useful to you and you learn some stuff, so see you later. Take care.